Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Roll20 Presents The Burning Wheel. So, back where we began, in the choir building. Alessandra, you have been led by a quiet young nun to another part of the choir's building. Now, I don't. I'll let Agatha help me set this up, but I don't imagine that you were taken to like the second sub basement or something. Like where would you, Agatha? Where would you like to have this meeting?
I'm thinking there is a space where, like maybe the space where I found Sister Sufferance in the previous episode. It's kind of like a working space where there are a bunch of folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I feel like while the like men of the choir are doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is here doing you know work because we're like a little community that has to do mending and other such things
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
keep
there's
running.
stuff to be done, food to be prepared, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's kind of like various and sundry like chores and tasks being carried out in here. And that you do these all in a common space because that way it's warm and
Mhm.
you have some company and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think then, Alessandra, you are led through these hallways. Serica just kind of like wide eyed, like she's looking at everything like this is where I'm gonna have to live. This is weird. And then the nun brings you to a door, and she says, "Just through here, milady," and opens the door, gesturing for you to go on in.
Okay. I do so.
All right. So Agatha, are you alone in the room? Are you sitting in like a high back chair and you like spin around like, haha, like what's the reveal
No,
here?
Stroking a
I
cat.
think there are other folks in the room working, and Agatha is like in some corner of it. Uh, I just took a quick look through my skills, and I'm like, what would I actually do for the? But I think my apothecary skills are coming in, so I'm making some like ointment or something for uh, people who have frostbite or something.
Mm-hmm.
Some herbal treatment that she's putting together. So she has a little like mortar and pestle out and a little table that she's sitting next to that has some herbs on it.
Okay. Yeah, and so like next to you, there's another. Most of the like women in here are. I mean, I guess they're probably like wives of like clergy members that joined this new thing, or like young women who are preparing to be nuns, who just kind of got transferred over. There are very
Mm-hmm.
few people who just are coming into religion for the first time by way of this thing. So I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, there are a couple of people on either side of you. One of them is like grinding something up in a mortar and pestle. The other is chopping like leaves or something, chopping up something. Like there's different yeah, people are doing different preparations to sort of help you. You're the like the center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I like hear some folks come in, but I'm just like doing my work.
Hmm.
Um, and if folks walk up, that's when Agatha would speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alessandra sees you before she would approach. So Alessandra, that's what you see. You see Agatha in the room.
And there's definitely a moment of pause, like I didn't realize the cult of angels was harboring a fugitive witch accused of murdering the queen, you know? So, but also like I already knew that Agatha had some fairly treasonous thoughts and
Do you think that is it worth a steel test?
yeah, I think so probably because that's a big deal, you
Yeah,
know.
you didn't leave. You didn't turn to dust. You didn't ride away on your broomstick. The black goat of darkness didn't come and carry you away back to hell. Here you are.
Yeah, because there
Okay.
were all these like rumors and stories about where I had gone off
Yeah, you
to.
cursed the queen and then fled back to the pits of hell, where all witches come from. So
All right, so I just do steal versus my hesitation, or minus my hesitation, or what is that again?
Yeah, you're gonna make a steal test and then put your hesitation as the
The
as the
The
ob, but
okay.
also like you're not being exposed to anything like supernatural or whatever, so you
so
probably
there
have
wouldn't be any
advantage.
extra penalty.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it's none of this stuff. But also you're being startled by something mundane. There it is. 2 extra dice.
I get 2 dice.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So I'll get 2 dice, and my obstacle is 4. I'm totally fine.
Okay. All right. So you don't hesitate.
But yeah, I don't hesitate, but it's definitely the like processing power is diverted for a second. Like, oh, right. And I don't know if I would remember that Serica had a bunch of. I mean, she just referred to it in our previous conversation, but I don't know like how important that is to um to Alessandra. Sorry, Bella is being weird.
It's okay.
So I don't know if I would remember exactly like how Agatha might affect Serica.
Yeah, Serica is more the problem here, hey? Because
Yeah, because she.
but I don't know that like she was always kind of spooked by you, and she's the last time she saw you, yeah, I'm gonna make a steal test for her. The question is whether she starts screaming or if she just passes out. I don't imagine her steal is very good. So for now, I'll just give her a low steal.
Steal of like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I put her in as 3. And for her, the funny thing is that her like she doesn't get the +2 because she's witnessing something supernatural, right? Like the horrible witch. She's only got a will of 2, so her hesitation is terrible as well. Okay, so I have to pick a hesitation action for her. I think she swoons. I think she passes out. I think she doesn't run screaming. That requires a strength of will that she doesn't have. I think so. So Alessandra, you see Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Serica comes in looking around for a beat, looks and sees Agatha, takes a deep breath, and then her eyes roll back in her head, and she falls like hard unless you try to catch her.
No.
Dick. Like, because you have the time. You could just be like, whoa, hey there. But she just...
I mean, Sister Sufferance would try to catch her, surely.
Would she, though? Like, this isn't a cruelty thing for her. I just don't think she's, like, present for it. I'll make a roll. We'll see. We'll see if she's fast enough. Say, like, an obtuse speed test. Not quick enough. Not quick enough. Okay, so Sister Sufferance takes a step forward. Serica falls and just falls like a wet noodle, and then bang, hits her head on the stone. And the women nearest her are like startled, and Sister Sufferance like immediately like goes to like tend to her. And everyone in the room is sort of focused on this girl that's just passed out and hit her head, except probably Alessandra and Agatha.
Yeah. I'm focused on Agatha. And I think that there's a moment where she turns to see Serica faint, remembers like, right, she was the one that witnessed this thing, and then turns back to Agatha and like the thing where Agatha supposedly tried to murder or did murder or put to sleep forever the queen.
Curse is the word, or hex, I think is the word Agatha would like to use. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Alessandra looks back to Serica fainting with some kind of like distaste, probably, and then looks back to Agatha, and it's just like, this is perhaps the last place I expected to see you.
I'm always where I'm least expected.
Mm.
No one looking for me here. And she's like very like aggressively mashing a pestle into some herbs.
Yeah, clunk, clunk, clunk.
What is it that you are doing here?
Continuing my work. Which is why I've asked you to come here.
You asked.
And she like quirks an eyebrow and shrugs.
I would not have thought you for one to use such honeyed words.
Yeah, and there's like a awkwardly long pause, and then she like puts the little thing down. I know it works. How to get you somewhere.
Last time I remember us attempting to work together, your tactics were a bit blunt for my taste.
Maybe your tastes have changed now that the castle is in ruins.
And maybe your tactics have changed now that you are in the company of nuns.
Yes, it is exactly so. And now perhaps is another opportunity for us to reconcile and work together.
Perhaps. Why is it that you summoned me here? Surely it is not just to get to know the women of the Church of Angels.
And Agatha gives you this like face that's like maybe that was what she wanted, you know, or like what would be wrong with that? Yeah, actually maybe she'll just come out and say it to you, like, well, why not? You were one of them now. These are as much your people as the courtiers and the kings.
Perhaps you've forgotten the ways of court. It is a waste of my time to get to know people who can do nothing for me. So why is it that you have called me here?
You think I can do nothing for you then?
I did not say that. I said it would be a waste of my time if you could do nothing for me.
Yeah, and she like indicates a seat next to her. Like,
I think that I look back to see if someone's like dealing with Serica.
Right, I was gonna say this is the scene where the two of you are in
like,
focus, but in the background there's like a fountain of blood spraying and like people running around screaming. No, the nuns have like taken her away. They've taken her out of the room to like go and like take her somewhere to get taken care of because she hurt herself. She hit her head pretty bad.
Yeah, well, she was gonna stay here anyway.
So they've taken her to another room, to like the infirmary or whatever, where they tend to the sick and injured. So she'll wake up surrounded by nuns, and probably by then Alessandra will have left.
Yeah.
You dick. Like,
I'm sorry.
so yeah, she gets taken away to get cared for by her new sisters.
Sure, yeah. Then I'll sit and I'll like while I look over, be like, I've brought you another woman to be part of your choir.
good.
She seems to remember you just as fondly as the rest of the court would.
She'll realize in time where her loyalties should have been placed.
And Alessandra like raises an eyebrow and gives you a long look and is like, I mean, or maybe she'll just go crazy, but that's not my problem anymore. Is like the look, you know,
Just like eyes back and forth.
like, yeah, whatever. All right, sure, you can make her a useful member of society. Whatever you say, it doesn't matter. It's not my problem anymore. But yeah, Alessandra sits down and I think that with Agatha, she's just like, she's not being as coy and like etiquette based as she would be, because like we made the point that when they were together before, like there was an amount of trust there. Like you knew what I wanted and I knew who you were and what you did. So like that's why I'm just like straight to the point.
Yeah, and Agatha doesn't truck with any of that courtly etiquette bullshit if she doesn't have to.
Yeah, so we'd already
Melisandre knows that
established.
and plays
Yeah,
to it. Yeah.
we'd already established this relationship a long time ago, and it's kind of like falling back into that. But I still think that she probably comes back with, "You were never one for an afternoon tea, Agatha. There is something that you want. Out with it."
You and I have agreements that have not been settled and work yet to be done, and I am here to honor that. The soonest I was able to, I sent for you. It is simply that. I did not flee my obligations, nor do I hide from my promises. And she's like smoothing her like shift on her legs as she like kind of settles into her chair. So tell me, what can I do for you? Things have changed.
Indeed, they have. I have done some work to get closer to my goals that we talked about ages past. As I'm sure you know, even cloistered as you are. But nothing is ever easy, especially with this. I don't know what it is. This season that does not end. This castle of winter. Everywhere I turn, it interferes. The king will not move on until he is assured that he has a legacy of some sort, wishes to go back into the castle and those monstrous creatures.
Yeah,
Robillard has...
Agatha like scoffs. You're like, go back into the castle. Yeah, she's just... Well, if he wants to die and get himself out of the way, he should at least wait until you are ready to take his place.
Always blunt. And like she looks around to be like, are there any like nobles here? Is there anyone that's gonna like... Robillard has declared that he will back me if I do the same for this.
I love it. Yeah, I love Agatha. Your first thought here is like, I know I was there.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so she just kind of nods very matter of factly. Yes, and I do what I can to shape his goals to align with yours for my position of trust within this space.
And she's just like, this is really weird because Agatha is some kind of like her like traitorous witch working with her uncle, who she probably just sees as like a weird religious guy who spends a lot of time reading, I don't know, has weird tattoos. There's this look of questioning and almost like unintentional, like a place of trust, you say, in this choir of angels. I don't remember you as pious, Agatha.
Piety. It's an affectation of these others. What I have is knowledge. Knowledge of the way of the world, the spirits, the truth behind what we see. And thus, if I cannot refute the existence of the angels, why then should I not seek to understand them? And why then should I continue to live in ignorance? The old ways will change, as will the ways of the church. The two bodies of knowledge will come together, and something new will be born. Something that permits, well, and she like indicates you, like, you know, like, it's gonna help make you queen. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Right. So you called me here from a position of trust within the choir of angels to fulfill an old obligation, one which you are already working towards with Robillard.
Yes.
Then I suppose our meeting is through.
She kind of squints at you. If you have plans, I must know of them.
I do not report back all of my actions to anyone, Agatha. I have no intention of leaving my house and my court daily or even weekly to come and have a meeting with you or my uncle.
Then have me sent to court. But if I am kept in the dark about everything you are doing, I cannot help you. If I have no access to the information I need, I cannot complete my obligation.
If you are sent to court, Agatha, you will be hanged.
And she just like shrugs as
like
if
that.
That's like a trivial.
Well, also like that sounds like an Alessandra problem. Like I expect you'll deal with
exactly
that.
Like, so she just shrugs and says, if my services are to be had, they are not to be had from obscurity.
So this is what you want.
I want to complete my obligation to you.
Yeah, and remember, sorry to interrupt, but the literal text of the obligation is Agatha will use her magic to aid Alessandra. She'll cast a spell or do some supernatural shit to help Alessandra gain the throne. And Alessandra, in exchange, will consider her words in future. So you're both bound by that obligation.
Yeah, no, I checked it before this.
Yeah. And so Agatha is going to push a little bit here. And so she like leans across, and like if your hand can be grabbed, it is grabbed, but her like hands are on the table at the very least. And she says, I played a part in getting you this far. And even the more extreme consequences of my actions that have brought us to more difficult circumstances have also in a way helped you. I am asking you to see that I have always had your interests at heart, and to understand that I am here to help you.
All right. I definitely think in terms of like the letter of our agreement, Alessandra is like, okay, yeah, I see it. You got the queen out of the way, even if you didn't like do it on purpose for me, but you did.
And you don't know that. You don't know that it wasn't on purpose.
No, I don't.
So what
I don't know if there is a persuasion test needed.
Well, I don't know if it's a test, a persuasion test, but like Agatha, are you trying to convince Alessandra that you've already done you did the thing for her already, and that the pact is complete?
No, I'm saying like, look, I am acting in good faith in our agreement. It's maybe not done yet, but it's like, but don't just dismiss me out of hand. And like, I have been helping you. Help me help you more, so that I can seal this deal and be done with it.
So I'm just wondering, like, because I feel like there's like a low grade like duel of wits burbling under the surface of this conversation. Like, not an I will argue with you to get what I want, but like you both want something out of this, and I'm just curious if it's worth like getting into that to figure out what the details of it are.
duel of wits worthy. I definitely think there's a test here of us both trying to shape the, because we kind of want the same thing. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
like adjusting the character of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like on the one hand, yes, a compromise needs to be reached, but I think that Blue Jay and I can agree on that compromise pretty readily in terms of what like me.
I don't think the characters or their beliefs are at odds enough to frame a duel of wits.
Yeah, I think there's like a versus test here, and we kind of discuss the result and move on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about intent. What do you want, both of you? Like, what is the goal here? If you walk away with what you wanted, what does it look like?
So, if I step back a bit and reveal my hand at like a player level here,
Yeah.
basically Agatha knows that she's kind of stuck in this compound until she like gets some kind of royal pardon or has a cover identity or something that will permit her to be more at liberty to move about. And so getting access to the court is the most complete. Like if she can get in there, she can get anywhere. So if something has been changed such that she can be at court, then she's got a free pass for wandering around, getting back to being independent. And so getting Alessandra to deal with that for her so that she can help Alessandra is like a two birds with one stone.
Right. So what you're asking for is that Alessandra will use what power she has to go back to the nobility and help get you like excused from your pariah status.
And that can be like, yes, we forgive the witch, whatever, because she didn't actually do the thing. It was actually the Magus. Or
that'll never happen. No, without some significant rolling.
This is this other person who is not Agatha. Look, she's dressed like a nun. How could she possibly be a witch?
There is the other option that both of you have presented before you of the convert, right? Because yes, it's fun to burn a witch, but it's also fun to have the witch be like, I was wrong and being a witch is terrible and I'm a nun now. Like
redeem the witch.
Redeem the witch.
So that by whatever means, Agatha is free to move about. And yeah, she's fine to be the convert because she is.
Yeah.
She has like changed. But she just wants to not be under penalty of death if she shows her face.
Right. Totally. Yeah. You want to remove that KOS
would,
status. Yeah. Okay. And Alessandra, what do you want here? What is the goal?
I mean, I feel like for Alessandra, she knows that she has obligations to Robillard and the Choir of Angels, but she doesn't want them to be like interfering with how she does shit. And I feel like she also recognizes that Agatha is on her side, perhaps more like than Robillard is. At least like for some weird reason, I feel like she trusts Agatha more to get her what she wants than she trusts Robillard. Like Robillard's working for the Choir of Angels, but Agatha not maybe a little bit more like flexible. I don't know.
Agatha has always wanted you to have like a more extreme version of the thing you want. So like what you want is on the way to what Agatha wants for you, whereas Robillard wants this other thing. So
yeah,
I mean, of, like mutual understanding in terms of like what bullshit I'm about, like I'm a known quantity.
Plus, also Agatha already owes me some shit. So if she's the person who is at court, as opposed to someone I don't know, who I might not have any kind of pull.
Okay, so I mean, it sounds to me like the core thing is we can be friends, but I'm in secret, or we can be friends and everybody knows about it.
Yeah,
that's like the only difference, really.
Yeah.
Because Alessandra,
you don't mind having me be
Alessandra. There's a huge chance. Mage. There's a huge chance this could backfire for you if you're like, "This is Agatha. She's converted," and everyone is like,
"Oh,
gross.
yeah,
why are you friends with the witch? We love the old queen."
Yeah, that would be real dangerous.
And Agatha, if you're forced to operate from the shadows, then you'll never get the legitimacy that you need to like actually have any kind of meaningful change on society. You're just the secret witch.
Yeah, and also
I want Agatha to be the secret witch.
This is also my second belief, handily, right? The idea that like the traditions of the people with capital P, it's like the way of the woods. If I come into the fold and I'm accepted,
Alessandra can legitimize them.
Then it like starts. It's like the narrow end of the wedge for me getting a bunch of other shit that I want later to be like, yeah, see,
okay. So we can agree that you that your characters will work together, but there's a role here to see who gets to say for now. Okay. All right.
So what kind of roll is it? Just persuasion?
I still feel like this is worth a small duel of wits because the nuances there, and unless y'all are willing, because this is very black and white. This is like, no, you stay in the shadows, or no, you have to like come out, and that changes. If you guys are okay, just being like, cool, this is the thing that'll happen, with no like
because
argument about it or debate.
Here's the thing for me, is this also signals the like this is a opportunity to reconcile.
Yeah.
And in Agatha's mind, getting her way is reconciling. Because I don't know, like.
So let's make it we'll just make it a versus test then.
Yeah, it is kind of all or nothing for Agatha. If she doesn't get her way, she'll be like, okay, cool. I have to do this whole other approach, and she'll still help Alessandra, but she'll be on some other shit.
Okay.
I mean, she was on some other shit before too.
So this is just persuade v persuade. If you both fail, I guess you can't because it's a versus test. Someone has to come out on top.
Versus test. We can't
and if you tie, there's no defender, so you go to another roll. And if that comes up a tie, then we'll deal with that deadlock when we get there.
Okay. I feel like I'm pulling in either court-wise or noble-wise because I'm talking about like how the court or nobility will or will not receive Agatha. Probably court-wise.
Court-wise is more appropriate in this position, yeah, for sure.
Manipulation-wise, because this is all a very complicated dance of like plays. Could I fork in inconspicuous? Because that'd be me being inconspicuous.
Yeah, and you can't. Yeah, don't think too far ahead in terms of forks. This is in this conversation right now. What is the conversation about? And those things or what would give you an advantage in the conversation?
Can I fork in court gossip wise? Because I know what everyone's been saying or not saying about that witch that.
But that doesn't leverage your like convincing Agatha that it's necessarily better to like.
Okay. Then, I mean, astrology, you can fork in anything. Astrology.
The stars are simply not right for this. How many dice do you
have? 8 plus astrology.
Okay. And then Agatha?
So I'm going to roll persuasion. I'm going to fork in spirit wise because I was talking about spirit shit and how the like truth of the spiritual world. I'm going to fork in falsehood. And just like catch me if I'm doing bad things. Falsehood and etiquette, because I am actually being really circumspect and polite, and I'm pushing for more than I actually need for my own benefit, but using this other argument as a cover for it.
And that's for what?
That's for falsehood.
Falsehood. Okay. Yeah, because it's not really about what you're saying. It's about.
I mean,
it's like
in that case, can I fork in ugly truth? Because I said, like, you'd just be hanged if you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that feels appropriate.
Okay.
You both think each other is at each other's mercy, right? Where you're like, I can help you, or I could just tell people that you're here, and then you'll get killed.
I don't think I was being very etiquette. I was being very blunt with Agatha.
Which is fine.
Which is a funny reversal. So I'm working with 3 forks.
Okay.
On my persuade of 4.
Okay, so you have 7 days. And are you also rolling astrology?
I will also roll astrology.
Let's just see who the stars are backing.
Right, so both of you just roll regular type.
Okay, yeah. Astrology is going to be...
It's pretty even roll. I like
what is my Artha situation looking like?
I have 4 successes plus 2 sixes.
Do you want to roll those 6s? I guess you can wait until...
I'll do the astrology die first.
I get 2.
No.
Okay, so roll the astrology die again.
Okay, so now I've got 3 successes.
No, it doesn't take away on the first one.
If this one fails, then it takes away.
No, okay, so it just does nothing.
Doesn't
okay.
The stars are neutral on this matter.
Here is my astrology die.
Uh-oh.
The stars are with Agatha.
So Agatha's up to
3 successes, 4 successes.
So you
I
are
will
tied.
use fate to reroll my 6s.
Okay, Agatha, you also have a 6.
2 6s. I'm going to use fate as well.
Okay.
I get 1 more success.
So that means that Alessandra has 5 total?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let me just add my fate in here.
Ah, ha, ha.
All right, she's still got 5.
That was So close.
So Agatha, you ended up with 1, 2, 3, for 4.
Yeah, so she's got 5 to my 4.
That was really
That was
close.
super close. All right, so you're gonna do it Alessandra's way, which means we can be friends, but you can't sit at the cool kids table with me. You're
It's
relegated.
just too dangerous.
The spirits of shadow are pleased by this outcome because Agatha is one of theirs, right? Like, no, you stay in the darkness with us, witch.
Yeah, and maybe there is like, because she's marked by the spirits of shadow too, so there is this like glowering like darkness that settles, like the light in the room just like dims a little bit as she leans back and
One of
crosses
the
across.
other nuns gets up to go and stoke the fire, right? Because she's noticed it's gotten dark.
Yeah, but
And
it like doesn't really. Yeah.
there's this whole conversation, and then Alessandra says, no, it's simply too dangerous to both of our causes to try and redeem you at this point. You have not been to court and seen the attitude of the courtiers and the king. They want blood. The castle is a stain. What happened there, a black mark, and they would willingly sacrifice you to clear it.
And she like puts her hands in the air and like exasperated. Not my magic that caused it, someone else's. Only one other possible option for that. She like folds her arms and gets like grumpy child body language, just like everyone's always picking on me.
And I think this is the first that Alessandra's like heard of like anyone suggest that it was because you're suggesting the Magus.
Yeah, like there's only one other wizard at court.
The other court sorcerer, yeah.
And she's like, yeah, not my magic. Only one other person could have done it. And she crosses her arms.
And there's this like curious glance where she's like, I kind of want to know more, but I don't think I'm gonna like extend this conversation now that I've gotten what I want because things could change, And so she's just like, well, very well. We will see to what extent we can infiltrate you into the court, not as Agatha, but some other guys.
Well, except hold on though, because the role here was that you don't have to do that. You can be like, stay here.
You won the role.
Yeah, you won.
I know, but I was fine with her like, I'm fine with, I don't want to have to like keep coming back here.
Well, you're going to have to, no matter what, because you agreed with Roblard. This is where Roblard lives. You're going to be back here a bunch more times. There's no way you can avoid that. That's already locked in. You are part of this church. But you can keep Agatha. Agatha will work with you at a distance, and you never have to worry about the court being like tying the two of you together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this worked out great for you. That's what you want because the court won't turn against you.
Yeah, I was willing to like do the whole like you have to be the nun or whatever because Agatha wanted to be Agatha. But
Adam's implication there is that both carry essentially the same risk.
Okay.
Or like two sides of the same risk.
I mean, Alessandra, it has to become known that you're a part of this church. That's part of the agreement, and that's good. That'll work for you because you're also supposed to be making the church more legitimate. But there's no way to legitimize in your mind Agatha, right? You can legitimize a different variation of the old religion, but you can't be like, all right, everybody, suddenly this country we like witches now, and it was okay to like freeze the palace and kill. So you don't have to do any of that. You can just be like, secretly we're friends, but don't talk to me. Just stay the fuck away. Right? It's very much that.
Okay, then she says something along the lines of I'm sure we will work closely together, but here court is not safe for you.
Yeah, and she just kind of like scoffs. Yes, just leave me here cloistered.
What did you expect?
To be able to do my work again. And she like shoots you a glare. It's like not quite at you, it's that whole thing of like it's kind of off to the side.
Well, I'm certain that you can do at least the less treasonous parts of your work here.
Perhaps you'll hear of my accomplishments. And she like goes back to freaking smashing
angry
thing.
mortar and pestling.
Yeah, and then I guess that's I consider that the end of our conversation and get up, and I think that I need to go talk to Robillard about Serica.
Okay, all right. So you get up and you walk away and head to find Robillard, which is cool. And we can do that as another scene. So let's grab a break, and when we come back, we'll check on everybody's favorite clown in the closet, and we'll see how you escape.
Clown in the closet.
Honestly, you don't really have to. You just need to wait. But if you want to do something to try to get away, I'm into that too.
I mean, I got some roles I could do to
Exactly.
like learn stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you can just hang out in the closet. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll check on you when we get back, and then we'll check in with Lodowick after that, and then see where we're at. Cool. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be back with more right after this.